Welcome to Michigan City Rising, the podcast that celebrates the vibrant spirit of Michigan City, Indiana. I'm Eric Tornes, your host and dedicated real estate agent with App Properties, Christie's International Real Estate. In each episode, we'll dive into the heart of our community, chatting with local business owners, innovative entrepreneurs, and influential public officials who are driving Michigan City's growth. From the hidden treasures to bustling businesses, we'll uncover the stories that make our little metropolis unique and exciting. Whether you're a longtime resident or new to the area, Michigan City Rising is your ultimate guide to everything that makes this place special. Today, I'll be sitting with Good News Vintage owner and Historical Preservation Commission member, Amy Bowman. All right, we're here for our second take with Amy Bowman with Good News Vintage. We had a little snafu at the beginning where I ran out of storage, but we're able to make this happen. So welcome to everybody that tuned in to our next episode of Michigan City Rising. I am joined here, like I said, with Amy Bowman from Good News Vintage. Welcome, Amy. Thank you for doing this again with me. And
of course,
I apologize for the technical difficulties last
time. No apologies necessary. I'm grateful for a take two.
Yeah, absolutely. So I guess like we ran through before, just tell us a little bit about yourself and your upbringing, where you're from and how you landed in Michigan City.
So I grew up in LaPorte, just the little town over. And after growing up there, I kind of realized I wanted to maybe explore a bigger kind of community. So I took some real estate classes and dabbled in real estate in LaPorte for a little bit, learned from some really great people as mentors, and tried that. Yeah. And then realized that LaPorte was just a little too slow paced for me at that age. I was, I was early 20s. So
Okay.
I'm really ready to explore a little bit. So got a job in Chicago working as an assistant, so to speak, for a pretty busy broker and developer. And, so I got to enjoy the aspects of real estate that I enjoyed without the cutthroat sales part of it that I didn't enjoy. So I really was into interiors. I was into staging and, making everyone's stuff look prettier than it really did. And in the interim of that job, the bonus was, as Larry was a developer, he also bought places that he, planned on knocking down.
Okay.
So there were a lot of things that were salvageable in those places. And I got a little out of sorts because I couldn't stand watching it all go in the dumpster. And there were a lot of cool things that I would just not let that happen to. And I would accumulate and I would accumulate and I would accumulate. And long story short, my mom worked at an antique mall in LaPorte back home. And she kind of said, maybe you want to try and sell some of that stuff instead of holding on to it. Like I didn't need some of the tables and chairs and I didn't need some of the things because I had already had stuff because I was already a garage saler, a thrifter, I would go to estate sales and things like that in the city. And I would just find a lot of things in the back alleys because people just throw everything away.
Right.
And I couldn't stand to see that happen. And so I would, grab it all. And so anyways, I started bringing a few things home to LaPorte and putting it in the window of the antique mall that my mom worked at. And those things sold rather quickly because they were really cool things, that really didn't belong in a dumpster.
Right.
And so sustainability was a thing for me back in the day in the 90s. And it was
before it was cool, right?
Yeah, I guess it's cool now. Thank God it's cool now.
Right.
Because there's still a lot of people that don't jive with secondhand and they have, some weird chip on their shoulder. There's some, they acquaint it with, being, I don't know, like I can understand getting things from a thrift store. You don't necessarily know where it came from.
You're right.
But still, you have to appreciate the fact that most items are cleanable, launderable. You know, they can have a new lease on life, so to speak, and they definitely don't belong floating in an island, making an island out of garbage that isn't garbage. So, so I started small. I was in that antique mall in LaPorte it was called It's a Wonderful Life. I was there for a long time. I was there for about eight years or so. You know, it was more of a hobby. I did real estate. I just moved out of the city after 9/11 happened. It just kind of was like, now I don't want to live in the city anymore.
Right.
You know, now I'm ready to kind of go back to that smaller hometown vibe. But LaPorte was just a little too small for me.
Yeah.
So that's how I ended up in Michigan City. My husband and I, we got married in Michigan City. We got married at Friendship Gardens, had our reception right across the street at
nice.
Trinity Episcopal. So it's wonderful to be able to look at that church every day.
Yeah,
and, you know,
absolutely.
that was over 20 years ago. But we bought our first home in Michigan City and loved that little bungalow. And then we upgraded to our second home, which is in Old Edgewood, and we love that neighborhood. And so yeah, Michigan City is you know, I wanted to build my I guess I wanted to put my roots here.
Yeah.
You know, started my business here with a business partner. I had graduated from the antique mall in LaPorte. After that closed up, then I went to the antique mall in Chesterton, Yesterday's Treasures, and was there equal amount of time, like almost, you know, this kind of long lingering. Had my daughter while I was a dealer there, so it was lovely to be able to have a creative outlet, but then not have to be the clerk.
Yeah.
And do all the you know, be there physically. So that was cool. Got to raise Harper, you know, and that gave me some money
Yeah, right.
and a creative outlet.
That's important.
Yeah, it was important. And so then that all kind of fizzled when it went up for sale and changed owners, and things just, you know, again, long story short, things just didn't work out for me in the mall situation.
Uh-huh.
So I had to downsize rather quickly because I held a lot of square footage there. So I just kind of like thought quickly and was like, I need to have some massive sales. So I did a friends and family sale at my house and had like a trunk sale. And then I knew some people at the antique mall, Jim and Rosario, and they had some really great property out in Beverly Shores. And I was like, we need to do a market. Let's do so they were on board and kind of created Day Tripping in the Dunes.
Okay.
So I did that a few times, but I'm not an outdoor market kind of gal. Things got rained on, things got broken, things got busted, and I got really pissed because I'm very attached to my things. I buy everything I love. I don't want anything to, you know, get ruined. I want everything to kind of keep going. That's the whole idea of it, right?
Right.
So anyways, I met the gal at the antique mall that moved across from me, and she kind of coerced me into turning the booth into a bigger deal, you know, kind of making it a store.
Yeah.
And I wasn't really down with it, but then she kind of convinced me, and I thought, okay, screw it. I'm just going to take that leap of faith. I had a great idea for a name. I had I had all the things. And like I said, I was downsizing. So that was a way I could kind of not have to like liquidate real quick kind of thing. So I took that leap of faith and jumped into a business partnership and opened my business downtown Michigan City.
Okay.
So yeah, I've been down here since 2016. That particular business that I started with her was Patina Vintage Goods, and that was we started that in the beginning of 2016. And our address was 621 Franklin Street. It was right on the corner.
Okay.
And then we expanded into the front storefront. And this space was available starting in 2019, and same landlord. So I did my best to get that landlord to give us this space because it was just such a cool space, and I really wanted it, and I knew that it was meant to be. So we moved over here in 2019.
Okay.
And that was before the pandemic, right? I think. And then the pandemic happened, and it just kind of went poof. It's like we could have interview after interview after interview, my dear. Yes, the stories go on and on. So that was a chapter. We'll just call it a chapter.
Okay.
And out of that rose Good News Vintage. Okay. And that started in, I guess I should say, Patina went down in 2020, the end of 2020.
Okay.
And then 2021 was the establishment of Good News Vintage, which basically was just a change in name and minus the business partner. I just stayed and continued on doing what I do, because like I said, I've been a dealer I've been doing this since my mid-20s, and I'm in my 50s now. So I've grown, I've evolved, and I really like it here. I've seen a lot in Michigan City. It's been a definite journey of ups and downs, and I've seen a lot happen. So I'm looking forward to seeing what's next for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. It's really exciting. So you had a filmmaker here recently. Tell us a little bit about that and how that came to fruition.
Okay. Filmmaker is Dan Meyer, and he is originally from Michigan City. And I believe his story goes a little something like, he came back to his hometown during the pandemic to be a family, that sort of thing. And he had this story that he had written a while back, and it had a storyline including, a bunch of his buddies, and I think it kind of just followed his life. So, but it was about some dart players, and very, very cute, kind of storyline. So he was scouting Michigan City. He wanted to do he decided to, I think some friends talked him into like, why don't you just do it in your hometown instead of doing it in New York or wherever movie makers do their magic, right? So he kind of was like, maybe I will. So he, I believe, went out on his scouting adventures and kind of decided downtown Michigan City is really where he wanted to tell the story. So he wandered in here, and I believe he really enjoyed what he saw. He immediately left his name, his number. He was like, get whoever the owner is in touch with me. I want to talk to her about some things. So when Trish called me, I was like, what? Huh? Yeah, right. I just was like flabbergasted. She's telling me, he's from Michigan City. I'm like, okay. So I called him. I was going to pick up Harper from school, and I called him, and he's like, yeah, hi, Amy, I'm Dan Meyer, and I'm and I'm like, okay, cool, Dan Meyer. And I'd like to meet you, and I'd like to talk to you about maybe, using your store, and let me tell you the story, and what a cool dude, and what a cool story, And so it just kind of catapulted. It was like, all right, I've got this script, and we're going to do this script reading. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. I've got all these spaces like kind of lined up, and what do you think? And okay, cool, Yeah. So basic storyline is there a couple of local dudes that own a bar. They're on a dart league, and one of the partners of the bar, one of them knows their financial woes, the other one doesn't, and they kind of just are the regular guys in the neighborhood, kind of ho-hum, and then they get this opportunity to play in an international dart tournament because it's really big over in Great Britain, and they're trying to make it big in America, and it's a really great storyline, and they
Yeah.
pick two, really shitty players, and they think that they're gonna, like just beat the crap out of them, and that's gonna be the end of the story. But these guys get trained by this. It's just a great storyline. I don't want to I don't want to give it away. You gotta see the movie because it's gonna be. I have a feeling it's gonna be something that we all get to see.
Yeah.
I was lucky enough to be a part of the reading, like go to the actual reading and watch it all, like with these just this cast of people that read the story. So I got to know the story, and then it didn't happen right away. There were some kinks. There were some things that timing was off. I mean, he wanted to do it at a different time, but it ended up working out. I feel like just wonderful. Like I got to be a part. I mean, so surreal. Awesome. Holy moly! Like the people that were in here and the cameras in the
whole production crew.
And awesome. I have a lot of furniture in here at the time. I had a really big like mid-century pit, and I had it was just like, and it was part of the scene, and
that's awesome.
It was really, really cool. And meeting the guys, and some of them, I mean, Dan picked. They were all local, or Chicago, or it was just so cool.
Yeah,
all the parts worked at the right time, and all the pieces fell into place. And I'm just so proud to have my shop as part of it, and to actually have been able to go. I think it was. I feel like it was October or November or somewhere. Just not too long ago, my warped sense of time and speed, everything just happens at Jesus Louises. But anyways, I was invited to the screening, and he did a local screening at our Michigan City Theater, and it was so cool because like as much of the cast that could be there was there, and all the people that he invited all of us, like the people that he used their loft, the bar that got used. He obviously did footage here, anywhere that lent their time, their energy, their vehicles, their anything that he could thank people for. They were all there, and it was really, really cool. And I'm really excited for him. I think learning the process of how a movie makes it, like now it's for sale. Now he's got to go out there and sell it, to the tiers. Like it could make it like to a Netflix, or it could make it to the big screen. But I hope that everyone in Michigan City and the surrounding areas gets to see it, because it's so cool to see all of the local. It's just so cool to see people that you're like, I know her. Oh my God, I know her. So wild. Oh, it's so cool. Prancer was filmed in our area long time ago. In the 80s, and I still get like gaga over seeing our Maple Lane Mall, because I used to shop there, man. You know what I mean? It's like I have these great memories of growing up in LaPorte, and some of the footage in Prancer is just like, it just takes you back. So I hope that in 20 years I get to go, oh my God, look at my shop. Yeah, I get to see that.
No, that's really exciting.
I'm very grateful that Dan chose Good News. It was an honor to be a part of it. Yeah,
no, that's very cool. Really awesome. So I know you're pretty passionate about what goes on in the community, especially here in the Uptown Arts District, and you are part of the historic preservation, right? So tell us a little bit about that, and kind of your journey into that position, and what that looks like for someone that holds that.
Yeah, because I'm definitely not a government gal. That's not my jam. You have to be appointed to the boards of Michigan City by the mayor, and at that time it was Mayor Perry who had appointed me, or came in and asked me if I would be interested in the position. There were some people that were retiring, and I believe it was heavily male dominated, and he was hoping to get some female input on some things. So he asked me if I was interested. And I am on so many levels. I mean, I own a mid-century home. I obviously own a vintage shop. So I'm very passionate about conservation and sustainability and reusing and and preserving as much as we can.
Right.
So I've been on it now for a few years. So I've learned a lot from it. It's been more of a learning experience for me, but it's also very, very frustrating as a former realtor to see a neighborhood that is it's a historic neighborhood. We have the Elston Grove district, and this is the Franklin business district. Both are historic in our line of interest, I guess I should say. And it's not the city that designated the Elston Grove district. It's the community, the folks that make up that neighborhood.
Yeah.
There's a lot of really wonderful architecture there that is worthy of saving. So many houses get
just torn down, and
it's sad, very sad. So that's something I'm very passionate about, especially watching it happen in Chicago. But those buildings weren't in historic, they weren't designated that way. So builders, and they could care less. They just want the money. So like I was going to say, as a former realtor, to not see more activity with the exchange of homes being sold in historic districts. There's so many people that come to the meetings and just say they have no clue that they are that they bought a home in a historic district. They have no clue. And it just blows my mind. And we ask every time, well, didn't your realtor let you know? And they're like, well, no. And I have been advocating it for it to be somewhere on the seller's disclosure, that, just like a homeowners association, if you live in a community where there's bylaws or there's things that you have to regard, anything that you have to regard as a communal kind of thing, you should know about it.
Right.
So that's happening. There's legislation being done right now in Indiana to do that. So hopefully things get easier, but it's our biggest problem as a board. We don't have a budget. There's not like we can, there's no like social media that we can get out there and go, hey, we just don't have that. The city doesn't do that. They haven't done it yet. I mean, maybe they will. I don't know. But we're kind of one of the smaller boards that just kind of, and it's sad because we hold a lot of bearing. I was just thinking today, we have a new train station being built at the train tracks, and it's a really big project, it's taking up a lot of airspace. It's going to be very big. It doesn't really cosmetically fit in with our, but what do we do? I mean, we have to have progress. We have to let these things come in, because it's like revitalize or die down here.
Right.
So I know I'm going off, aren't I? We're on the board of preservation.
Oh, no, you're good.
I'm sorry. I can.
I mean, it aligns.
It all ties in, right? It all ties in, and so that's why I think he had asked me to be on it.
Okay.
So we're a makeup of people that live in the neighborhoods. They own businesses. They're stakeholders, or all of us have a little something different to bring to the table, so to speak, and a different perspective. So I know that our board is lacking 2 seats. We have 2 vacant seats. So by all means, if you're passionate about history or just Michigan City in general and want to see, things be. Another big thing is our prison. The Indiana State, has kind of given over the reins, so to speak, to let Michigan City handle that. And I take it as a double-edged sword. I think it's a double-edged sword. There's a lot of things that environmentally are going to come up. There's a prison, there's a church, there's a lot of touchy-feely things about that. So I hope that there's open communication about it with the community and everything. But I don't know that there's any kind of if the Board of Preservation's been invited to any of those conversations.
Yeah.
I think they should be.
Yeah.
I think I'm scared that a lot of those really essential little homes over there they're amazing, affordable homes, with a little love and a little TLC.
Absolutely.
I don't think they need to be knocked down, and
you're right.
I don't think that needs to happen. So I'm hoping that we can kind of, I don't know if we have the power to stop that. It's just like, we're up against a lot.
Yeah.
We're just a little tiny board in a little tiny neighborhood with a little tiny voice,
Yeah.
So, but it's cool. Like I said, I'm learning a lot from it, and I've now experiencing it under 2 different mayors. So, it's nice to see grant money and money being, now we might have a little money coming our way to be able to put some door knocker or, go out and, we'll physically do it ourselves, but knock on doors and here, we need you to know this,
right? Because
you need to know if you want to put new windows in or you want to do new things, you got to come to the city first. You got to do that.
That's a big thing that I've seen here since I've moved here about 2.5 years ago, and something that I've seen is a lot of people take to social media nowadays, right? And
oh goodness gracious,
it's
sad.
And obviously, people have their, choice of, their outlet and how they want to voice their opinion. And I was just speaking with the chief of police, Chief Corley. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And, a big thing is like, the door is wide open for a lot of these establishments. And it would be nice to see some of these community members, show up to the town hall meetings and volunteer for some of the boards. And, there are other avenues besides, social media. And I see it time and time again, people taking to social media. And believe it or not, a lot of these public officials are not on social media.
Well, that was where I was just, well, it's okay. Again, double-edged sword here. So I agree and I disagree. There's way too much chatter on Facebook.
Yeah.
However, there's not enough information coming from our city on social media. We don't have a presence. We don't have an Instagram. We don't have a Facebook. We don't have any kind of thing that's connecting our community with our city. And I mean that on all levels. Like even our special events coordinators and stuff, they do events down here. They do parades but there's never any kind of, hey, when you're done with the parade, why don't you, make sure you patronize our local businesses, our shops and our restaurants. They don't even like connect with us, So I feel like there's a lack of connection. And so social media is a way for, of course, people to feel like they're connected, right?
Right.
So that's why I feel like it's a double-edged sword. We're lacking in our in our ability to communicate with our city.
Yeah.
But our city communicates on its own. And if there was a flow with the two, I think it would be a lot better. I think there would probably be less chatter on the opposite end because they would get answers to their questions. And then they would feel more connected.
Yeah.
I mean, just with the people that I talk to and such, even if they're not part of our community, there's just so many questions.
Right.
Michigan City is a mystery.
Yeah.
It's a little disjointed. It's a little funky. It's a little quirky, and people have a lot of questions.
Yeah.
And I have to answer them. You know, I mean, they come from all angles too. So sometimes I'm an ambassador. Sometimes I'm a travel guide. Sometimes I'm a, I'm a social media. I don't know. It's just like, when you're in a downtown, everyone gravitates here.
Mhm.
So you're dealing with just a melting pot,
Right.
And so I just feel like I have a lot of answers.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I don't know if the Board of Preservation is I mean, it's a wonderful outlet for me to be on, but sometimes I feel like sometimes I want to be more involved, and I feel like I should be, speaking more on behalf of my local business community down here,
Yeah.
because, like I said, it's revitalize or die, and I don't feel the revitalization like I feel like it, after COVID, it's just kind of been like, good luck, fend for yourselves, and that's what it is. Like, every event is just kind of we're doing an event, and we're just going to focus on that event, and then we're going to go away, and that's all.
Okay.
And that's something I wish was different. And I do wish there was more of a connection with social media, where our community and our city was a little more fluid, I guess is the word I'm looking for.
That's a big thing. Like, I know social media is starting, especially with, like, even because, like, I'm a realtor, and a lot of that is, you either make the change to social media, or you're gonna fizzle out, because it's here to stay. And you really just have to find a way to make a presence there, and it's only gonna get more expansive. Social media and
It's so
just
hard to navigate. I have such a hard time. I mean, I love to make vignettes. I love to decorate. I'm an interior, stylist, whatever you want to call me. I am not a content creator. I am not a social media, I don't know how the hell to do that. I'm not, but I am, I'm in a position where I have no choice. I have to either, you better figure it out, girl.
Right.
Better figure out how to make a flipping reel. You better figure out how to connect with your audience, or you're just going to go down and, it's not an easy thing. I mean, being a small business and then having to do a whole second job as a social media, mamma mia, it is not easy. It is not easy at all.
Yeah.
It's hard. And it's hard when, I'm just going to say it, and you can cut it if you want. But so, we're also affected by it, right? So here we are, small businesses down here struggling, and I'm not going to lie, and I'm speaking. I mean, we have great days and we have bad days. We have all the days, right? Everyone does. All small businesses are going through this right now. I understand that. However, we have a lot of folks that, how do I want to say this? When you're promoting something, so to speak, like you're promoting your festival, your winter beer festival. Say you're promoting that, right? And you kind of say some things that allude to other folks caused your dismay. It wasn't anything to do with you. It was external causes, right? And those external causes are like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? And then for regular folks to comment on those social media posts and say things like, I hope everybody's boycotting the downtown businesses. And then for that said entity to not take it down out of respect for anybody, because I hate to say it, but that's pretty much what it boils down to, as me being a business owner in Michigan City, as a downtown watcher of things. It's been a little bit of a slap in the face when, it's just a little bit of a slap in the face. So,
absolutely. That must be, that's definitely tough, for, especially, if somebody, takes to, again, social media and puts that, and they get one side of the story.
Exactly.
Right? So,
and we don't have any kind of recourse. There's nothing that I can say that's going to change anybody's mind.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because
Mhm.
they don't really care. So yeah, it's a double-edged sword. It's a love-hate, you know? Ugh.
Right.
It can make me puke. I mean, I have puked over it. There have been so many times that Instagram has like buried me, buried my post. Facebook has decided, oh, you've created an event for First Friday. We don't care. We're not going to let you. We're not going to let you do it. We're not going to post it. What do I do? I don't know how to fix that stuff.
Yeah.
Who do you call? You can't call. Help me! I don't know how to do this.
Yeah.
So it's scary, and then that's the freaking future. Shit.
Yeah.
You know, that's why I love being in my happy place. This is like, I'm not stressed out about any of that. And, you know, I feel like you can come in here, you can be comfortable, and you can be surrounded by things that just they're not affected by those things. You know, this is a deflection from all of that. And every downtown needs that. We need places where people can come in and kind of just decompress. We need art galleries. We need stores like this where you can just walk in and go, wow, cool.
Yeah.
I left inspired, you know. We also need ice cream parlors and donut shops and pizza places so people can want to come and explore and hang out, you know, but we're not there yet.
Hopefully we'll get there.
Yeah.
So where can people find you?
Okay. Well, right here, they can find me. I'm in the heart of downtown Michigan City. 613 Franklin Street is the address. In the historic Steiger Hardware Building, I might add. It's a beautiful building. I feel like the energy in here is very glad to have this kind of an environment to jive with. I remember that my landlord was going to rent this to an investment firm, and they were going to cubicalize this space, and it didn't work out. And I really feel like all the energy that's in here is very thankful, and it really thanks me every day. It really does. It's like, thank you for letting us not be cubicles. We're so grateful.
Yeah.
So like I said, downtown Michigan City. I'm on Instagram at it's Good News Vintage MC, and same with Facebook. Good News Vintage. I'm going to try my hand at TikTok eventually. I have heard that I really need to get this shop on TikTok because vintage is very big. I'm very old school though, and I don't know a damn thing about TikTok. And I'm gonna challenge myself to try and do that.
Okay.
But yeah, so right now I'm open Thursday through Sunday, and I don't know when that's gonna expand. Finding help is really hard, and I'm kind of on a, you have to have people coming into shop so you can actually have money to pay somebody to actually come in and help you work. So I'm just kind of in that stagnant spot right now where I'm like, okay, well, I can be here Thursday through Sunday. So I know a lot of people, oh, you're never open, and I feel bad, but I do it all by myself for the most part, and that's all there is to it. That's all I can say. You know, I'm a busy mom, and when JB can help me. I'm at the mercy of, at that. So that's my schedule for now, but I'm always posting and letting everybody know what's going on, and keeping everything fresh and current and up to date.
Okay, awesome. And I guess lastly, if you have one thing to, say to the people of Michigan City, and obviously the visitors that come to Michigan City, what would that be?
Well, to the locals, I say explore. Be a tourist in your own town. I think it's so much fun to be a tourist in my own town. I love taking a day and just checking things out, especially if you have family and friends that come to town. You don't necessarily have to take them to Valpo. You can bring them here and show off some of our local gems. And to our visitors, you already know they're the ones that are coming. They're the ones that love Michigan City. They already know what a gem it is that we have, and I'm grateful for that. And we have wonderful conversations about it. I love Michigan City. I love it. It's a fantastic place to live, and have a business. I know it's a struggle. Like I said,
of course,
like I said, every small business is going through what I just know I'm not the only one, so we pivot and we figure it out and, do what we have to do. So yeah, I just feel like it's going to be a good season. There's a lot of changes going on in Michigan City. We've got a two-way Franklin Street situation now. So if you haven't been down Franklin Street, check it out. It's a different topography. Seeing things coming from a different angle is really kind of cool, you know? And again, and I kind of want to encourage anyone local or anyone in general to open your mind. If you've ever really thought wholeheartedly about opening a small business, please do so, because Michigan City is on the cusp. We're going to have a lot of new folks living here. We're going to have the units to house them. So we're going to need all the small businesses that we can down here.
Yeah.
I firmly and wholeheartedly believe that. So the more the merrier, and just don't be afraid. Now's the time to do it.
Right. All right. Well, thanks again, Amy, for this. It's very, very enlightening, to kind of see what's going on down here. And obviously, I have a few more interviews with some business owners that are, sharing the same space as you down here in Uptown. And, but yeah, it's been really great to kind of get a peek into your life and your business. So
yeah, like I said, we could go on for.
Oh, absolutely. And maybe we'll follow up.
Chapter after chapter. Every day is a new day.
Yeah, absolutely.
It is down here, which is kind of cool, which is like, you never know. Like, we're such a hidden little gem. That train, you can get off, from Chicago to South Bend. And I remember the old days when it was running like crazy back in 2016, 2017. It was a 2018. We were very, very busy down here, very busy. So I really hope that resurgence happens, and that downtown Michigan City gets it deserves. The buildings that are left, thank God they're left. The guys and gals that have done their part to restore them. I think I know you mentioned you're going to interview Heather.
Yeah.
And I'm excited for that, because she's one of them that, bought the building and has been able to bring fluid down here. Fluid's changed our world down here,
Yeah. So that's right.
And now the heron.
Yes.
Woo!
Yep.
I'm very excited.
I am excited to see what's going on there.
Yeah. So like I said, we just need,
Yep.
We need some oomph down here.
I think it's coming. I do see a lot of other individuals, and not to, knock anyone in the older demographic, but like, a lot of us, like the younger demographic, they see the potential. It's a gorgeous uptown. It's a gorgeous city in general,
that's what I'm saying. I hear it all. Like I'm an ambassador. Like I said, I'm a tour guide. I'm this and that. I love and that's what fuels my fire is when our visitors come and they're just like, oh,
yeah,
are you kidding?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I know.
I never knew this was here.
I know. When I tell people, they're like, oh, well, why were we going to New Buffalo again?
Right.
You go to New Buffalo, go all the way up.
Right.
Go all the way up Red Arrow and then come right back.
Yep.
And then go hit, Beverly. We have we're part of a really cool scene. And the sooner Michigan City grasps that, the better.
Yeah.
I tapped into it a long time ago, and everybody I know knows it.
Right.
So
that's great.
Maybe we'll spread the word.
Yeah, in our follow-up episodes.
Yes.
So
okay. This was just number 1. Actually, it was number 2, but.
Well, thanks again, Amy. I appreciate it.
My pleasure.
Yeah.
These chairs won't be here next time though, because they will sell, hopefully. So we'll have to change our perspective and go a different direction.
Thank you again for tuning in to Michigan City Rising. I am your host and local Northwest Indiana real estate agent, Eric Tornes. Thank you to Amy Bowman at Good News Vintage for her time and effort to make this interview happen. If you know or are a small business in Michigan City and would like to be featured on this podcast, reach out to me on social media. As our community begins to change, it's important that we don't forget our local small businesses. Thanks again to those of you that watch and support this podcast, and I will see you again soon. Until next time.